Many times we say that we're healing, but we're not actually dealing with anything. We are doing surface level work. And it's important for us to understand that a lot of the things that are on the surface are symptoms to much bigger. Welcome back to Off the Dome with Coach Ash. I'm Ashley Major, a faith-based identity coach, and it is a pleasure to be here with you guys on day 22. And our topic today is the difference between healing and suppressing. Wow. This is such a huge topic for me because personally, I spent many years suppressing. I don't know how many of you know my story, but I'll just give you guys a brief overview. So at the age of 10 and 16, I was sexually assaulted. And during this time, I didn't tell anybody. For 24 years, I kept those secrets. It wasn't until the age of 34 that I revealed what had happened to me. And when I look back, when I truly started my healing journey, I realized that a lot of the decisions that I made throughout my life came from suppressed emotions. A lot of the things that I was searching for came from emotions I never expressed, thoughts that I never shared, feelings that I felt were invalid. And so when you suppress, it's easy to say, oh, I moved on. I don't hold grudges. It ain't that big of a deal, or it is what it is, right? These are sayings that we often hear. And a lot of it is because we don't want to, one, either feel the emotion, or two, we don't want to receive rejection from expressing our emotion. And believe it or not, the biggest fear for people is the fear of rejection, okay? And the third is a lot of times we don't know how to express our emotions. And so when we're going through these feelings or these phases where things are happening to us and we're not speaking up for ourselves, it is suppression. When we're going through seasons of our life and we find that we're being triggered and we don't really know what's triggering us, but we're feeling very strong emotions. It may be anger, it may be sadness, it may be grief, it may be a feeling of unworthiness, a feeling of being unloved, whatever those feelings, those heavy emotions that come up from a trigger. And triggers usually are brought on by our senses. So something you heard, something you saw, something you smelled, something that touched you, or something you tasted may have brought on this emotion. Now you're stuck in this emotion, or you're feeling this emotion and you don't know how to express it, or you don't know why it has come about. Have you ever been in that space where feelings come up and you don't even know why you're angry? You don't know why you're sad. You don't know why you're going through the motions? It's because something is being suppressed. You're not talking about it. A lot of people like to rush through grief, and grief is not something that we rush through. Grief is something that we feel, we face the emotions, and we go through it day by day. And when you suppress, you find that life gets a little more difficult. Things that don't need to be overwhelming, things that should be easy or straightforward become stressful. You tend to pull away from people. You tend to withdraw, or you become that person who wants to please everyone. Outwardly, you're happy, you're jovial, you're the life of the party, but inward, there's so much going on and you don't know how to share it with anyone, or you don't feel like you have a safe space to share it. So that is suppressing. That's what suppressing brings about. That's what it looks like, right? And again, I'm speaking from experience. I was the type that distanced myself. I stayed in my little bubble. I lived life on my own terms because I didn't want to have to feel anything. For a long time, I didn't even know how to process emotions. I didn't even know how to cry and grieve with people. And so I would distance myself. That was because of me suppressing my emotions. But on the other side of that, what does healing look like? Because many times we say that we're healing, but we're not actually dealing with anything, okay? We are doing surface level work. And it's important for us to understand that a lot of the things that are on the surface are symptoms to much bigger problems. When we go through the healing process, now we get to dig deep. We get to do introspection and reflection. We get to ask ourselves, why do things matter? And we get to go through that process. I've shared with you guys this exercise that I do with my clients all the time called 7 Levels Deep. And if you haven't tried it, I encourage you to try it, because what this does is this helps us get to the root. We're no longer dealing with the surface. True healing allows you to get to the root so that you can now work on becoming whole. 7 Levels Deep exercise is you find a reason why you want to accomplish something. So whatever your goal for healing is, why is that important to you? And then we process that for 7 levels. And whatever your why is, you now ask yourself why that is important. And we keep going. Well, why is that important? All right. Well, why is that important? And you keep going. And the key to this is to dig deep. No surface level answer, because our innate response is to give the answer that appeases or sounds good. But you're doing this work for you. You're doing this work for your true healing. And so you'll get to dig deep. And I promise you that there's some emotions that are going to come up, but don't stop. Don't stop until you get to the root. And you'll know when you got to the root, because it'll be an aha moment. Or maybe you already know what it is, but you don't want to face it. And so you get to that point where now you have to face it. And that is the key to healing. The key to healing is facing our problems head on. It is not trying to find a quick fix or a temporary fix or a compulsion or ruminating over it, overthinking. No, this is where we get to face our problems head on, and we get to work through it. And we get to do it by giving ourselves grace with the process, not rushing through the process. Because healing is like this. It's never ending. There are going to be levels and layers that you peel back every single day, every week, every year. Something new comes up and you have to work at it. But the goal is to be the best version of yourself. The goal is to become whole in every aspect of your life, because one area tends to affect every other area. We may not see it in the moment, but every area of our lives are affected when we don't heal the roots. And so healing looks like doing the work, getting back to God, getting back to your foundation, rooting yourself in the identity that God gave you. And I pray that you do the work. I pray that you get back to who God says that you are, because that's what healing looks like. It looks like getting back to the identity that God gave you from the day that you were born, because he knew you before you were born. He knew what your life would become. But the choices that we make, the things that we go through, they tend to stir us off course, and we got to course correct. We got to get back on course, and we got to do the inner work. We got to do the healing work, and we got to ground ourselves with community, because community that empowers you is going to be the community that helps to uplift you as you're going through this process, as you're healing. And you'll find joy in the moment. You'll find peace. The things that used to trigger you in the past no longer triggers you. You find freedom, because that's what I found when I shared, when I finally spoke up. I found my voice again, and I found freedom. You will find freedom in your life. And so that's the difference between healing and suppressing. I pray that you got value from this. I will see you guys tomorrow. Drop a comment. I read all of them, and I look forward to just hearing from you guys, okay? So see you tomorrow. Ta-ta.